Hi, this is Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. Today I want to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart because it happened to me, and that's why are your blood sugars still high if you've been doing keto or any sort of low carbohydrate diet or ultra low carbohydrate diet? Before I do that, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So, little background on me, I'm a pharmacist. And if you watch some of my other videos, I talk a lot about supplements and medications. But backing up a bit, back in the day, I had a lot of health issues, which revolved around eating like crap, basically. So, as I learned more about how the body worked, started wising up and eating a more natural diet, I went to all different ends of the spectrum on diet. I did vegetarian for a while, which was hell, and I hated it. And I don't believe it's a good way to go, but some people do it for moral reasons. Hey, whatever. Then I went carnivore and everywhere in between. But one of the interesting things that happened to me, and I saw a video on this from Dr. Berg, and I totally disagree with where he was headed with it. I respect him. I respect a lot of these guys that are very knowledgeable about some of these things. But the basic question was, a reader chimed in and said, why are my sugars still high and my diabetes markers are still high if I'm doing keto? And the basic message was, drop your carbs even more. 10 grams of carbs may be too much. And I disagree with that, again, because it happened to me. So when I went low carb, right away it helped. It helped my markers. My A1C came down, my fasting blood sugar came down. And so I thought, man, if I've dropped my carbs to this point, dropping them even more would be better, right? Because I have a family history of diabetes. Well, that wasn't the case. Shocking enough, after 6 months to a year of being extremely low carb, and I mean under 30 grams a day, I went in, got my levels measured, and my A1C had went up. My fasting blood sugars were back in the diabetes range, putting me at pre-diabetic. They were over 100. And I'm like, couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, what I discovered, what I believe was happening, and what fixed my issues essentially was PIR. So what we're describing here is physiological insulin resistance. And the best way I can explain it is this. People are going to get triggered when I say this. Your brain prefers glucose as an energy source. Now let me stress this. I'm not saying it can't use fatty acids from ketosis to function. It's just been proven that if glucose is available, it prefers glucose. So what happens is what I believe happens is when you cut your carbs all the way down on a long-term basis, your body recognizes that and goes, okay, we have some glucose floating around, not a lot, so we're going to save all that for the brain. So it makes your periphery resistant to insulin, so you can't take in those carbs in your muscles and your outlying tissues. It's going to save everything for the brain. So it essentially does make you insulin resistant. It's kind of like what happens in gestational diabetes. It'll make the mom insulin resistant to shunt the glucose to the baby. So what I ended up doing, kind of out of frustration, was I bumped my carbs back up. I didn't jack them up. I'm not eating 300 carbs a day, and you don't need to. But there's nothing wrong as long as you're eating good carb sources. And the other part was, when I was on doing keto for 6 months to a year, it sucked. I didn't feel good. I didn't sleep good. I felt stressed out. It wasn't a good feeling. When I added carbs back in, I felt better. Going back, once I added carbs in, I went back in. My A1C had gone down. My fasting blood sugar dropped down to like 67. The last time I had it measured, it was 67. So my point is, everybody wants to vilify carbs. I'm telling you right now from experience, carbs, they don't make you fat. Now, if you overdo it on processed carbs for a long period, that it will make you unhealthy. It can make you fat. But Carbs aren't the problem. You need carbohydrates. For example, men, you want healthy testosterone levels? Everybody wants to talk about steak and eggs. Yeah, the cholesterol is a great source. It's the building block of testosterone. But we know from studies, you eat carbs and you eat them smartly, you do it intelligently, your testosterone levels go up. So carbs aren't the enemy. I think the best sort of diet is natural foods in a balanced proportion. It's going to waver a little bit for certain people, but these extreme diets, there's problems with them. I don't care which one you go to. I've done them all. There's problems with them all. Eat a balance of foods, keep them natural, and base it off how you feel. Some people can get away with 50% carbs. Some people need to go down to 30, 40% of their diet is carbs. You need some protein, you need some fats. You know, all these things are what enables you to operate optimally. So again, I'm not knocking some of these guys that want to do the keto because they're helping people right off the bat, but doing something like that long term is generally not a smart way to go. And these are some of the issues that you run into. And this is the same thing I ran into from experience. So any questions, post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, to address them. Appreciate you watching. Till the next video. Thank you.